we're a solutions-based process versus a property forward process. Obviously, we're investors. We want to buy the property. However, when we approach the owners, we don't approach them with, hey, your property's, we'll give you X amount of dollars for your property. We show up and we ask them, have you tried forbearance? Have you looked at, the possibility of a refinance? Are you looking at bankruptcy? We ask the why they're in the situation before we ever really talk about the property.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Kesil. Today, I'm joined by someone I'm looking forward to chatting with, Marcus Inman, who is a real estate investor specializing in pre-foreclosure properties. So excited to have you here today, Marcus.
Well, Michelle, I appreciate the invite. You guys, I've followed you guys in the past and have seen a lot of your guys' episodes as well. So being invited to come and speak really was a highlight for my new year to get started.
Awesome. Excited to dive in with you today. So first off, for those who are not familiar with you and your work yet, can you share what your main focus is?
So with real estate investment, I am solely focused on pre-foreclosure. I found a niche, I liked it, and I got pretty darn good at it. So I don't really venture outside of that. That's just where I focus. It just seems to be where I fit with my mentality and the way that I like to help people and also help myself and my partners make a little bit of money. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. And how did you get started in this?
So I think it's like anybody else, heard about investing and read some books and, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and, all the stack of books that you can read about real estate investing. And one of my close friends actually started down the road of doing some real estate investing. He was doing some fix and flip stuff. And I grew up around construction, so I knew a lot of that. And then he got into wholesaling and he started teaching me wholesaling. And I was like, oh, this is kind of neat, because I don't have a whole lot of extra money. I'm, young and just a good blue collar working person. And this wholesaling thing may be pretty neat. And I'd ran into a couple of pre-foreclosures and I realized, one, it's a complete different dynamic whenever you're working with those folks. And two, I actually liked it better. And so I just moved completely out of doing any wholesale and traditional fix and flip work and just focused solely on pre-foreclosure. I stumbled into it by accident.
Yeah. And why specifically pre-foreclosure?
So, a lot of folks listening to your podcast understand the wholesale process it's almost a two sales process, and it's very, very marketing heavy. So you have to go out there and find the distressed property, and then you have to get that owner to sell you the property, and then you have to either assign the contract, whatever you're doing in the wholesale process. Even on fix and flip, you still have to go find that property. You still have to be able to acquire said property. You still have some pretty strict timelines, and depending on your loan provider. With pre-foreclosure, I found leads were way, way more easy to find because they're public knowledge.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So I could find properties without having to spend a ridiculous amount of money on finding available properties. And it gave me some, and because of some of the tools I learned from wholesaling, I was able to take some of those tools and apply it to the pre-foreclosure. So it just became a very simple procedure for me. So I moved into it because of the simplicity involved.
Awesome.
Well,
And are
lead
you
gen
operating in
simplicity,
specific
sorry.
markets?
Yeah, I actually only operate out of the state of Missouri. And the reason is, one, I know the state laws. It gives me a focus there. Two, because of the nature of pre-foreclosures, you have to be able to react quickly. You have to be able to move and get things done very rapidly. So there's nothing in the state that I can't visit tomorrow or the next day. I can get in my car, I can drive across the state, I can view the property, I can know exactly where I need to be at on that deal within 24 to 48 hours, so I can start putting together everything for that owner to get them stabilized and ready for the next chapters that they have coming in their life.
Awesome. And how has it been with the foreclosures? How is that going for you now?
Well, currently, I've scaled back a little bit. It's just my focus has been other places, but previously, I mean, I've been great in that system. I think part of it comes from just our approach is completely different than a lot of folks that don't deal with it regularly. We're a solutions-based process versus a property forward process. And I say that because obviously we're investors. We want to buy the property. However, when we approach the owners, we don't approach them with, "Hey, your property's, we'll give you X amount of dollars for your property." We show up and we ask them, have you tried forbearance? Have you looked at, you know, the possibility of a refinance? Are you looking at bankruptcy? We ask the why they're in the situation before we ever really talk about the property. So it just really expands in the way that we do it. So I only focus in Missouri. That way, one, I'm very familiar with the laws. Two, I have a network built here. And three, it's a reaction thing because most of the folks that we're dealing with, we're only going to have approximately 10 to 20 days to make the deal happen, or it's not going to happen before it goes to the auction.
Right. What are some of the biggest obstacles of having that time crunch?
Capital, that's a huge obstacle. So early on, I learned that the hard way. Capital's huge. You have to have available money to move now. And, a lot of your loan brokers, folks like that, they can't move at the speed of a pre-foreclosure. I literally had to get money wired less than 24 hours before an auction to make deals happen. So capital's a big one. I would say if you want to go into the pre-foreclosure market, have your capital locked in, either a line of credit that you can immediately within 24, 48 hours get access to, have a good capital partner that can, hey, yeah, I can write you this check today, make sure that everything's taken care of. But I would say capital is probably the toughest just because of the speed that you have to be able to work in.
Yeah. And what are some solutions with the capital? Like, is there any sort of creative way that you overcome it?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I wouldn't say it's creative. It's actually pretty traditional. I have a couple of partners that happen to do pretty well, and I don't ask them where they get their money, but they're able to wire as soon as we need, um, within reason, of course. And then, just having that line of credit to be able to, take care of any early fees that you're going to get absorbed into. But really, you kind of got to approach that traditionally. A lot of folks talk about wrapping the mortgage and things like that. I'm not a fan of it. There's a lot of risk that goes into it. I'm not putting down the folks that do that. And if it helps that homeowner and it helps them, then absolutely do what you're doing. But as soon as that loan gets called, or if that loan gets called due, which has happened with the interest rate changes a lot more frequently, you can lose that property pretty quick unless you've got access to capital.
Definitely. What do you feel are some of the main keys that have made the biggest difference in allowing your business to be able to grow?
Honestly, I think it's our approach. Um, we don't strong arm. We don't, well, not trying to sound rude, but there are some folks that work the pre-foreclosure market that are predatory. They put a lot of pressure, things like that. Um, something that a lot of folks don't know about me is 20 some odd years ago, I was actually homeless at one point. So I understand stress. I understand being in a bad situation. Uh, so whenever I started working pre-foreclosures, I really wanted to actually help people. And, I partner with some great attorneys that will help these folks if they need to move on with like a bankruptcy, things like that. I've got a partnership with a credit repair agency that if there's enough room in the deal, we'll actually pay for like a 12-month period for that client to get credit repair while they're finalizing this process, trying to help them move forward into the next chapter. It's almost case management in a way. We don't approach it going, hey, look, it's our house, get out. There's terms, there's conditions. Usually it's like, hey, look, we're going to take care of this. We're going to get you some cash in your pocket whenever you walk out the door, and we're going to give you 60 to 90 days to transition. But it all has to fall in the deal. I mean, these deals are pre-vetted. I know the address before I even reach out to the folks. I've already looked them up. With our software, we, run like prop stream, things like that to see what loans and liens and things like that are already on the property. So I already know if the deal's a good deal or not before I even reach out to the client, before I ever, approach it. And then at that point, it's very hands off. I do letters. I send a handwritten letter to every potential client and tell them, hey, look, here's your options. This is what we may or may not be able to do. If you're interested, call. We don't blow their phone up. If they're not making their house payment, there's a high probability they've switched phone numbers, and they're probably getting about 500 other calls a day about money that they haven't spent, because most people will pay that mortgage first. I think it's really our approach that really sets us apart, because we try to work on solutions, not the problem.
Yeah, that's important. What are some common solutions that you support your clients with?
Well, so oddly enough, we've kind of standardized. We've been doing it long enough. I'm pretty standardized. It's usually, as long as the structure's there, and it usually is, $10,000, 60 days in the property after we close. And that's usually pretty standardized. When we approach, and if they're open to working with us and one of the other options aren't available, they may have not even had a conversation with the bank about a forbearance, or if they can renegotiate that loan, or do a any other options that the bank give them. They may not have even had that conversation. And I've ran into that. They're like, oh, I didn't even know that was an option. And they find out, oh, my bank's willing to work with me.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Those to me are big wins. But if they're at the stage where there's no other options, it's then, I've pretty much standardized it. It's like, hey, look, we can offer you, once we close on this deal, what we'll do is we'll take care of everything else. We'll go on ahead and set aside $10,000 for you guys. So, and give you guys like 60 days. So in that 60 days, when you find a place that you guys are going to move, let us know. We'll take part of that $10,000, make sure that your deposit's paid, whatever you need to do to get moved, we'll take care of that. And then whenever you guys leave the property, we'll give you the balance of the account, and move forward. We've just really standardized it. Some folks need more. Some folks just want more. Sometimes the property allows for it. Sometimes there's not as much room, but I've kind of standardized it because most folks in that situation are less worried about how much you're paying for the house as much as they are, where am I going to sleep next week? Those are two totally different mindsets. And somebody under stress, there's immediate need and there's secondary. Yeah. They may want more for the property, but they also understand that unfortunately, they're losing the property either way. So let's do this with some grace, some dignity, and with some upside.
Yeah, absolutely. That's important. And what are you most focusing on solving or scaling to next in your business?
So actually, I am looking at, so I do a little bit of work in mergers and acquisitions and taking actually our philosophy from pre-foreclosure. A lot of folks don't know, I've also done some business brokerage and do some buy-side advisory work. And I've ran into deals recently where on the commercial side, someone's buying a business, there's property included, but they don't want the property. And what I found is the business is either underpriced or the property is significantly underpriced. And we can actually leverage that property to get the business deal done by working with REITs and investor groups that want the commercial properties on a buy lease back process for new business owners. It helps them open up cash flow. I saw a situation where the $2 million business, they only ended up having to carry $800,000 after the sale of the property. There's been some really positive moves there, and we're able to get some pretty reasonable advisor fees and things like that on those deals as we're moving forward. And all started because of my background in the doing what I'm doing in the pre-foreclosure, finding solutions to issues. And then this is now becoming a natural exhaust of some of that work over the last few years, learning, oh, there's more options out there. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of focus there. I'm going to keep doing what works on the pre-foreclosure stuff, but then I'm going to put a little focus there because I'm hedging into a little bit of mergers and acquisitions work.
Awesome. Is there any advice you have for people that are earlier on in their investing journey?
Well, one, keep grinding. It's simple, but it's not easy. I think there's a clear definition there if people really think about that. Two, if you choose to go the route I did, like pre-foreclosure, create a system, because when you do finally get that first deal on your desk, it's going to go fast. You don't have a lot of time to react. You don't have a 30-day window. Wholesaling a pre-foreclosure, just walk away. Don't tie up don't contract a house that you don't know if you can sell, especially when someone's about to get kicked out. The bank don't care if you have it under contract. But mostly, find what works for you. I mean, I think that a lot of folks get into real estate investment, especially early on, unless they've got the financial backing to get really deep into it and have a lot of high hopes, but learn a good process that works for you. I find that whenever I get focused into a niche market and I, learn the one system before you try to do all systems, because I think that's where a lot of younger investors really, they try to jump in there trying to do fix and flip and rentals and wholesale and hotel and, everything all at once, and then don't understand why not a single one of those things are scaling. I think that having a singular focus is going to be a better outcome for somebody new into that market. And quit paying gurus $10,000 a week. Everything's free on the internet. You got great podcasts like Investor Fuel.
Yeah, definitely. There's so much you can learn online.
Oh,
How
yes.
did
Oh,
you
yes.
learn?
Well, I had
Did you
a
like
very
have
good,
any? Yeah, go ahead.
I think mentors are important. I don't care if it's what you do for a living or if you do nothing for a living. I think that mentors are important. Just having a good connection with somebody that can think outside the box with you on the problem. When I came into this, it was a close friend of mine. Him and I played music together. Uh, so another weird, strange fact about Marcus is Marcus was in a rock band that's played on stages with Grammy-nominated artists and had a song on the radio. I don't talk about that in my real estate stuff, though. Anyway, he was our guitarist, and he was the one that got into real estate investing. And I'd read the books, and I had grown up and around construction and residential remodeling, and saw a lot of the process. And he really sat down and started teaching me. And again, it was initially wholesaling because he was doing classes to where if we landed deals, he got a percentage of that deal, which was fine. So it didn't cost me a ton up front. Which was great. And that's really what got me rolling was a buddy of mine doing something that I'd always had a little bit of interest in. And he kind of nudged me forward. Thank you, Mr. James Perkins. He probably listens to you guys as well. And got me really moving in the right direction. And, it just, that's what got me started. Just a buddy that we played music and he was being successful and I wanted to feel what that felt like.
Yeah, that's awesome and so cool that you were able to get inspired and get support in that way.
Yeah, I think it's important. I really do. I think everybody needs to find that person that helps inspire them, no matter if it's your spouse, if it's your best friend, if it's a mentor somewhere. Just find like-minded individuals.
Definitely.
So,
Yes. Well, before we close out here, someone wants to reach out, connect, learn more. Where can people find you and where can they connect with you?
one of the best places, honestly, to connect with me is LinkedIn. You can find me very easy on LinkedIn. There's only one of me that I know of. I've Googled myself quite a few times. You can also find me on Facebook. Look for the bald head and the glasses. I'm probably in that. I actually took down my corporate website for real estate investing because I had shifted a little bit of my focus to the mergers acquisitions. So I would say really LinkedIn is the best route. I'm on there religiously, answer almost every message that comes through there. So I would say that's probably the best start point. Facebook's kind of questionable, but LinkedIn's probably the best way to find me. Unless you Google
Perfect.
foreclosure 411 and then you'll find my phone number. Or foreclosure dash
Perfect.
411. Yeah, that's us.
Great. Appreciate your time and your story. Thank you for being here. And for those, yes, thank you. For those that are tuning in, if you got value, make sure you've subscribed. We've got more conversations with operators like Marcus who are building real businesses. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.